So on the way back to get out, it was all uphill again, and oh my goodness, I nearly died. Hi everyone, so we've been back from DC now for a little bit, and I've been working on the videos. Unfortunately, I have not had as much time as I would have liked to have been able to edit it. So here we are about, I don't know, 2-3 weeks late. I'm not sure. So here we are. For this trip, decided to fly up to DC, which was an adventure all on its own. As if you saw my last video, I explained how I flew up to DC alone with my 2 kids to meet up with my husband. It was quite an adventure. I'm not going to go into further detail on that, because since I already did do the video, just go ahead and go back to that video. I'll put up the link so you can see it, to give you more explanation about what happened with the flight and what happened during the first few days that we were there in DC. The final few days, I decided to take the kids to the Smithsonian National Zoo, which was amazing. I actually liked that zoo a lot. They had really great exhibits. I'm a little spoiled being from Miami because we have a huge zoo here as well. The Miami Zoo can take more than one day to do the entire zoo. It is that huge. The Smithsonian Zoo, I was able to do pretty much all of it in one day. There was just a few pieces that we were missing, but we also did get a little bit of a late start. So I'm sure if I had had the full day, I would have gotten, I would have been able to see the entire zoo. I did get to see a panda. That's one of the only zoos in the country, if I'm not mistaken, that has a great panda, which was amazing to me because I've never been able to see one. They're just adorable in person. I do highly suggest visiting the Smithsonian National Zoo, and since it is one of the Smithsonian's, it is free. So yeah, you can't beat that. It's a great zoo. The only thing is, I would highly suggest to you that if you are going to be taking the subway to get to that zoo, if you're coming from the south, get off on the northernmost subway. I don't remember off the top of my head what that station is called. I'll put it in the notes. But get off at the northernmost station and walk south 4 blocks, as opposed to getting off the southernmost station and walking north 4 blocks, because I did that. I got off at the southernmost station and walked 4 blocks up north with my bus of a stroller and 2 kids in the stroller, and it was all entirely uphill. I was pooped. I was pooped once I got to the zoo, and then we did the whole zoo, and I didn't realize while we were walking the zoo that the zoo is also all downhill. So on the way back to get out, it was all uphill again, and oh my goodness, I nearly died. It was a great exercise though, but it was very exhausting with my heavy double stroller. Well, actually my double stroller isn't that heavy. It's one of the lighter ones for a double, but if you put 60 pounds of kids in it plus the stroller weight, it can get pretty heavy. So yeah, it was not fun. So take my advice and get off at the northernmost station, and I'll put that in the notes so that you know which station I'm talking about, so that you don't kill yourself with the stroller and the kids, and just don't do it.
And they have their own waterfall.
Yeah.
Wow.
Me
Madison? Isn't he beautiful?
¿Y John? ¿Vamos, Gordy?
Ahí está, mira.
¿Sí?
Ah.
No, te voy a hacer a él. Los chicos se desesperan. Pobrecito. Vamos, Fermín. Vamos, José.
Now, I did have reservations to do the Capitol tour and the White House tours, but I decided not to do it because my two kids, throughout the entire trip, were acting like animals. I don't know any other way to put it, but they were just out of control pretty much the whole trip. I don't know if it was the atmosphere, if it was the change in scenery, if it was all the fun we were having and all the places we were visiting, but trying to take them out places or to restaurants or anything was just, it was a mission every time we had to do it. So I decided not to take them to the Capitol tour and the White House tour because I was afraid of how they were going to behave, which is a bit upsetting to me because I personally really wanted to do those tours, and I couldn't get my husband to watch because my husband was actually there for a training seminar. So during the week he was in his training seminar while we were visiting all the museums, and you know, it is what it is. I'm sure I'll be get back to DC like again. Hopefully when the kids are a little older and they're able to behave like rational human beings. This wasn't my first trip to DC. It was actually my third. But I was actually able to do a lot more this trip than I'd done in my previous trips. I do plan on going up again because I actually really fell in love with the area. So we'll see. You know, I'm sure I'll be able to get into the Capitol tour and the White House tours. Just a quick note, if you do want to visit the White House and do the tours for the Capitol and the White House, you do need to write your congresswoman or congressman to be able to get on the list that they on the visitor list to be able to do the tours. It isn't an issue. They'll write you pretty quickly. Usually one of their aides will write to you and give you all the information. But that's one of the ways to be able to do the Capitol tour and the White House tours. The best thing to do is just find out who your congressperson is, and go from there. Now, has anybody out there visited the White House or the Capitol with their kids? My kids are 5 and 2, so they're a kindergartner and a 2-year-old. And it would have been me with my two kids alone visiting these amazing buildings and these historical structures to do this tour. And as I said, I was terrified of doing it with them, with the way that they behave. If they get bored, they get bored very easily. And I was afraid that the tour wasn't going to be stimulating for them. So has anyone taken their kids on the Capitol or White House tour? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your input. I kind of feel that I missed out on that one. I really wanted to do them, but I was so terrified the kids were going to misbehave. So I decided to not take them. But I would love to hear from you. If you did do it with your kids, let me know how that went. Let me know if they were accommodating. Things like that. I'd love to hear from you. The other thing I really liked about this trip is that we were able to take a lot of off the beaten path kind of trips. Well, not a lot. The last day that we were there, we decided to take a drive down the George Washington Memorial Parkway, that it kind of goes down the border of Virginia and Maryland, and it kind of goes along the Potomac River, which is beautiful. My husband had to do that drive a lot because his training seminar was in Reston, Virginia, and Waze had him go that way to avoid traffic, so he was able to experience that during the day. And every time he came home, he'd tell me how gorgeous it was, all the things he saw. So the final day that we were there on Saturday, he decided, you know what, I'm gonna take you for a drive so you can see everything that I saw and experienced. And while we were taking that drive, we would go into the outlooks just to kind of take in the scenery and take everything in it, and look at all the beauty, and just kind of take in the nature that was around us. And in one of those overlooks, actually on one, on the drive, we saw a sign for a park called Turkey Run Park. So we decided to make a quick stop and check it out. Well, come to find out that that park also has hiking trails that lead down the side of the mountain, so that you can actually take the trail down the side of the mountain to the, I think it goes all the way down to the Potomac River. I'm not entirely sure. If there's anybody on here that's been in that park or lives in the area, let me know, because I would love to know if that actually goes all the way down to the river or not. But anyways, we did do a portion of it because we were not at all prepared for a hike. We had Maddie carried. She was in a dress and no shoes on, and half asleep. Sebastian was all kinds of excited. He wanted to keep going. I did not have any hiking shoes. I wasn't dressed properly. Yeah, it was just, we weren't prepared to go for a massive hike down a mountain as flatlanders. So we just kind of took the trail a little bit and came back. You'll see that in the footage that I was able to get. So then, we did the little hike. We got back in the car. We kept driving, and while we're driving, I pull up a map, and I'm like, it'd be great to see if there's any kind of waterfalls or anything like that. We've seen the river, we've seen the forest, we've seen all these nice trails. I wonder if there's waterfalls. So I pull up the map, and lo and behold, we find a city called Great Falls, Virginia. And they have a little waterfall. So off to Great Falls, Virginia we go. They have a national park called Great Falls Park. We go inside the park and check out it's basically like a little waterfall with rapids, and it's so beautiful. I've never seen anything like that before in my life. Truth be told, I've seen a few waterfalls in my life. Obviously in Miami, since we are flatlanders, there are no waterfalls. But I did visit Jamaica, and I saw the falls there. And as a kid, we did go camping in the Smoky Mountains, so I saw a waterfall in the Smokies as well. But it's been a long time since I've seen waterfalls. So we went and we saw this nice little waterfall with these rapids and the rock formations, and everything was just so gorgeous. Sebastian was super excited. He was talking about it non-stop. That boy wants to move to Virginia. He thinks it's an amazing place. He loves being in nature. He loves checking out new things like this. He's gonna be a great Boy Scout.
How'd you all get down there so quick? Sorry, I was just taking those stones real slow because I didn't know if they were slippery or...
Hi, Mom. That's a little chair. Hi, Mom. Mommy. Mom.
What did you find?
I don't know. I don't know what it's called.
Cool.
What is this called, Daddy?
I don't know. It's some kind of seed.
splashing river, do you?
Yeah.
What's this? This was a cool safari day, wasn't it?
All right, you know what?
What?
Okay. Daddy has to come to you. Let's go to the car
Uh-huh.
and go get Daddy. I'll stay in the car with Maddie, and you come back with Daddy. Because
Okay.
Daddy has to come to this, right? Yeah. I think Daddy needs to be here.
That's cool.
Come on. Let's go find Daddy so he can see it too.
Do you actually know where Daddy is?
We'll find him.
Wait, who's that?
Come on.
I heard somebody laugh.
Those gentlemen over there were laughing.
Oh. I'm already tired. Are you tired?
I'm feeling good.
Not me.
Not you.
Tired.
So that little side adventure took me back to when I was in college, and we were able to just, spur of the moment. Let's pack our bags and go here because we can. And it reminded me a lot about my ability to do that and kind of reminisced a little bit. It was kind of great. With kids, obviously, that's a little more difficult to do. And you never know how they're going to behave. So it's not the same as it was when I was a kid. So after that little side trip we took, we basically drove on to Dulles International. So after we visited Great Falls, Virginia, we basically drove on to Dulles International. We dropped off the car, we got all our stuff, we got settled, and we boarded the plane. Now, getting in and out of the plane for me was a lot easier this time because my husband was flying home with us. So he was able to help me with the kids and help me with all our gear, and it went a lot easier with him around. On the way home, though, I did put Madison's car seat in the cargo hold along with the stroller. I did have a bag for it as well. So I had a bag for the stroller and a bag for the car seat. Both of those items were waiting for us at the gangway when we got off the plane. Now, I did notice that when I got the stroller, the bag for the stroller was in really rough shape. It had all kinds of tears and scuffs, and you can tell they grabbed this giant bag and just kind of threw it. This is my stroller bag for travel. As you can see, I'm gonna move this camera around a little bit. You can see all kinds of grease stains, dirt marks, all kinds of nasties. And down here, there's one tear where a tire would have been. And here is another tear in the bag. I bought this specifically for the DC trip, so I used it twice to get to DC and to come home. It was in really bad shape. Like, I would get another bag for the stroller if I was ever to take a flight with that stroller again, because it came back so rough. As a matter of fact, we found that one of the front wheels is the axle is bent, so both wheels kind of wobble as I'm strolling the stroller. And that didn't happen. That the only place I could imagine that happened was on the flight, because it wasn't like that when we were in DC, and I had basically hadn't used it when I got back home until we noticed that one wobbly wheel. Thankfully, the parts for that is not expensive, so I'll be ordering a new wheel for my stroller. But yeah, thankfully my car seat did fare a lot better. I didn't notice any kind of damage to it. So I'm still using the car seat, but I know that car seat we're due to upgrade Madison's car seat because it's about to expire next year. And you know, Madison is getting bigger and older, so it might be time to get her a new car seat. So a quick note on why I'm in the dark. Since I am basically by myself today, my husband's not home. He's on away on the ship build right now. So I have to wait for the kids to fall asleep to be able to make these commentaries and be able to edit my videos and things like that for you guys. So they are actually asleep in the room right there because I have a little office right outside of my bedroom. And they are asleep in the room. So if this is too dark, please let me know and I'll try and get more lighting in here so you can see me a little better. I actually kind of like this environment. I like when I'm editing videos or I'm sitting here on the computer. I like doing it with all the lights turned off because it's kind of relaxing to me. You know, set a little candles, get the mood going. It's nice and relaxing and stress-free for me. But if it is a little bit too dark, I can bring more light in and make it brighter so you can see me a little better. So you let me know in the comments if this is too dark, and I'll see what I can do. So anyways, that was, you know, basically my trip to DC with the two kids. Will I do it again? Not in the near future. It was an adventure. As far as, you know, taking the kids with me, the flight. As a matter of fact, his Boy Scout pack, his Cub Scout pack is looking to go to the Smoky Mountains camping during Sebastian's spring break from school. And I decided not to do it because my husband might not be here. So it would be me driving with the two kids by myself. It's about a 13-hour drive from my house to where they'd be staying. And I don't know, with how they behaved during the Washington trip, and then the week after we actually went camping at Fort Wilderness as well, and they were not behaving much better at Fort Wilderness either. So I think big trips like that, I think we're gonna have to wait another year before we do anything like that. I hope not, because I like taking big trips. I really do. I like doing more than just taking cruises and going to theme parks. But if it gets to the point where it's not enjoyable for me and I'm fighting with my kids more than enjoying our family vacation, then I'd rather not do it. I'd rather just wait the year or two until they mature a little more to see if they're able to handle the stress from the change of scenery, the whole trip environment, you know, because I know it's overwhelming for them. And I think that's what happened during the Washington trip. I think they just got highly overwhelmed because even Fort Wilderness, my kids, you know, they've done Disney. Sebastian's done Disney easily at least 10 times. I mean, we've done Disney so much, and he at first was a little shaky when he was younger, before Madison was born, but as he got older, he behaved himself better and better. He got accustomed to what Disney was about. You know, you have to stand in line, you can't whine, things like that. Granted, he still has his little moments, usually related to him being tired, but who doesn't? But the way he behaved at Fort Wilderness over the weekend, it was pretty bad. So I think we're gonna wait until we take any more major trips like that, where it's like a flight or a long drive or things like that, until they mature just a little bit more. And then we'll see. I actually do have another trip coming up, but this is gonna be an adult only cruise. So like I said, it's gonna be a cruise. I'm very excited about it because it's gonna be on Celebrity's new ship, the Edge. Since my husband works for Royal Caribbean, he is able to get, when new ships come out, they do things like employee cruises, which is amazing because we get to test out the ship beforehand. and he's able to get family on board. So I am going to go on there with him. Since it's a celebrity ship instead of a royal ship, it's more geared towards adult, not really geared towards kids. They really don't have a playroom or an adventure ocean or anything like that. So I know the kids will not be enjoying themselves. So they will spend the weekend with Nana that weekend. And actually, it's going to be over Thanksgiving. I'm going to be on a cruise during Thanksgiving, and my kids will be with Nana. Sorry, Nana. But mom needs a break. My husband, he has been away on this ship build a lot. We think if we were to total up all the time he's been away because of this ship build, we think he might have been gone at least half of the year. So he's been gone more than he's been home, which leaves me to take care of the kids and take care of the house and do everything all by myself. And I need a break. So I'm going to take a quick 3-day cruise with my husband to reconnect, to rest, to relax, to be an adult. And I will let you all know how that goes. I'm sure it'll be great. I can't wait. So yeah, if you want to find out how that goes, please go ahead and subscribe. Click the big red button below and go ahead and press the bell as well so you'll get notified when new videos are up. I will be trying to keep a Friday schedule, so videos should be up and online Friday by 4 p.m. So that you all can keep in touch with me and stay up to date with our adventures. I would love to hear from all of you. Please leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you've been able to experience anything like what I've experienced, how your kids behave during trips. If you have any tips for me on how to deal with not so great behavior when you're traveling with small kids, I would love to hear from you because it's a struggle. It really is. And coming from somebody that's got huge wanderlust, I want to be able to travel. And I don't want to have to leave the kids with Nana all the time. So if you have any tips for me, leave me messages below in the comments. Let me know what you did and how I could probably improve my experience as well as the kids' experience so we all are not stressed. I would love to hear from you. Thank you, guys.